Hey everyone, Andrew Wall here, host and executive producer at Illuvium, and I'm excited to go over all of the systems and mechanics that you'll experience in the Illuvium Overworld beta in this tutorial video. If you don't already have access, no worries. Just go to play.illuvium.io/overworld. I'm excited, let's get into it. Here we are in the Illuvium Overworld, where you'll play as a ranger. And for those of you in the private beta, you get to be Arlen, and this is your only chance to play as her. You land on a planet that all scans indicate is dead. You'll soon discover how wrong that is. Your job is to rebuild the ship, and you need to traverse across 7 biomes in order to do so. Of course, in the beta, you'll only have access to Crimson Waste through this obelisk, and I'll show you how to use that, so we've updated the drop weights. You'll start in Sanctum Mesa, where we're at right now, with nothing. You'll go into Crimson Waste through the obelisk to gather resources, and you'll return back here to Sanctum Mesa to forge items and fuse Illuvials. Rinse and repeat to progress in the overworld. Here in Sanctum Mesa, you'll arrive at the obelisk, where you can press E to interact. On this map, you can select your region to travel to and the stage of your choice. Crimson Waste is unlocked right now. Stage 0 is free, while higher stages require increasing amounts of fuel. Your objective is to travel to higher stage regions and capture rarer and more powerful Illuvials to become the most dominant ranger in Illuvium. To get your bearings in the overworld, press M to open up the map. Scroll in and out on the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. You can also drag your mouse around to find the location you're looking for. I highly recommend using the marker system. Right-click anywhere you want to mark a spot on the map. It'll help you navigate there. You can also mark notable locations such as a deposit, a plant, a singularity, even locations within Sanctum Mesa. And when you do, and I'll just demo this for you here, you can toggle on and off markers by pressing G. Notice how it makes the items that were not marked disappear when I hit G. It can simplify your map view and help you narrow in on the things that you're looking for. You'll see a legend here in the top right-hand corner and a quick view of all of your resources at a glance. And of course, don't forget, if you lose your spot on the map, hit F to focus on your ranger, and you can teleport by holding down left-click on a teleport-eligible location. So here in Sanctum Mesa, for example, there's a teleport beacon right here in the middle. Hold this down and we'll teleport right here from the obelisk to the middle of the hub, just like that. Sanctum Mesa is the perfect place to practice traversal mechanics before you enter a region. Let's master walking, sprinting, jumping, jetpacking, and I'll show you the slow time mechanic that's useful for shooting singularities. First of all, walking. WASD walks you any direction you want. You can also use your mouse to look anywhere you'd like. Hold down Shift to sprint, and you can use WASD and the mouse while you're sprinting to go in any direction. When it's time to jump, hold down spacebar. You'll get a maximum jump, then hold it again, and again, and again for a multi-jump. But notice the kinetic energy bar at the bottom ran out, so you have to budget your energy carefully, especially when you get into more dangerous regions. Shift to sprint. Now chain that with your jump and do a multi-jump, and then you can add on the third traversal mechanic, jetpack. Hold down Shift to use your jetpack, but notice kinetic energy ran out. Practice here on the beach until you get the hang of it. Then, once you're able to chain all 3 of these together, sprinting, jumping, and jetpacking, there's the last thing that you need to know, the slow time mechanic. How does slow time work? Well, you can aim your gun by right-clicking, and you can charge your gun by holding down left-click. Now, you're going to do that, right-click to aim, hold down your gun to charge with left-click, and you do that in the middle of the air. Are you ready? I'll show it to you right here on the beach. Jump, 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 hold down right-click and charge up, and then you can shoot, slowing time and making it easier to nail your target mid-air. Remember the marker we placed on the map earlier to help us navigate toward the hub? Here it is, represented in the overworld, so let's take a turn, and here's a terminal up ahead. This terminal is the Survival Arena, and if you have not already played Illuvium Arena, I highly recommend practicing in the Survival Arena, so that you can up your skills in our auto battler. It'll come in handy in Crimson Waste. Press E to interact. If you hold E, you can enter the training survival scenario. If you hold R, you can enter competitive survival. I highly recommend holding E to enter training survival for new players. Welcome to the arena. I wish I had time to completely explain this mode. It's its own video game. I'll just go over the high level of survival for you to get you started. Here in survival mode, you're going to encounter increasingly difficult waves of enemies. You want to counter the enemy team by having a look at their synergies on the right-hand side and taking into account their positioning on the battle board on their side, and countering that with your own Illuvials in the most cost-effective way possible. Total number of mastery points here at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to select a random Illuvial to deploy on the board. Drag and drop to deploy. See the plus 55 at the bottom of the screen? That's the cost of deploying this Illuvial. I can also recall it by dragging it off of the battle board if I choose to get a refund. I'm going to place this Illuvial here and notice what happened on the left-hand side of the screen. Primary and composite synergies have appeared. Those need to counter the enemy team's synergies optimally. Let's go ahead and select a random Illuvial to deploy as well. And there are other systems at play to increase the synergies of your team to defeat the enemy team. Your ranger is free, and you can click these icons above your ranger to select armaments. I'll select a random armament. Notice how it costs mastery points. You can also select armor. Those also cost mastery points. And these cards you see here at the bottom of the screen, these are called augments. And if I had the mastery points, I could use them and drag and drop them on top of one of my Illuvials to give them some sort of unique buff or boost. I know these systems may seem confusing now. That's why I recommend just experimenting here in training mode. Hit start at the top of the screen, and you can use WASD in your mouse and look around. Looks beautiful and cinematic, and just start getting a feel for survival mode, for the arena, and get a better understanding of what counters what, how these systems work, and get a level of comfort with this particular mode. If you die, don't worry about it. It was just training. And what you can do is just press escape anytime you're done training and leave survival. That will bring you back to Sanctum Mesa, where you can decide what your next move is. What we're going to do is press M, and I'm going to demonstrate the teleport function I was talking about earlier. Going over here to the obelisk, I can hold down the left click button to teleport to the obelisk. Let's do it. Much faster than traversing the good old-fashioned way. Once you arrive here, hit E to interact. Select Crimson Waste, and then choose the stage that you would like to go to venture out into this region and begin the process of trying to capture Illuvials. I'll select Stage 1. Notice how it costs fuel. Let's go. Welcome to Crimson Waste. This is where things get interesting. You'll arrive at the obelisk, where you have the option to press E to interact, and if you want, you can travel back to Sanctum Mesa by pressing this button. I'll hit escape to close this menu to show you that not everything is safe here in Crimson Waste. As you traverse immediately, there are dangers, including these acid pools that will kill you. Notice how when you go into the acid pool and you die, you'll immediately be teleported back to the obelisk. To more handily identify items of interest here in the overworld, hit Q to activate Nethersight. As you can see, there's a singularity moving about over there, and resources, and you can see behind walls with Nethersight. But it doesn't last forever, just end it. To upgrade your Nethersight, hit I to access your inventory, of course, and you need to upgrade your visor to increase the range of your Nethersight ability. In tandem with Nethersight, I recommend using Heatmap to better identify where items of interest may be located in the overworld. Press M to activate your map. Go ahead and zoom out using the mouse wheel, and then press H to activate the heat map. The red-hot areas will be where items of interest may be located. Take this area over here, for example. Why don't we check that out? I'll right-click to add a marker to this area. I can click H again to turn off the heat map to see what the area is like with a bit more context, then exit the map by pressing M. See the top navigation, that white marker up there? If I line that up, okay, I need to go in this direction, and it helps me better understand where I need to go to get to that area. This is a navigation tool I highly recommend using, especially when you're getting oriented on a region for the first time. Press I to access your equipment menu. Here, the helmet, weapon, jetpack, and boots will help you more effectively traverse the overworld. The encounter equipment down here, weapons and armor, will be used in encounters here in Crimson Waste to help you defeat the enemy team. From here, you can click the Deck tab at the top to see all of the Illuvials that you've captured, to navigate them, your augments, and your shards accordingly. Also, you can click the Obtained tab here at the top, and that'll show all of your obtained Illuvials, as well as basic stats about your current location, the time played, your harvestables, minables, everything, all at a glance, if you want to understand what you have obtained. I'm going to press E to interact with this resource, and as you can see, I can hold E to scan it. The drone is scanning, and at the bottom of the screen, we can now understand what the contents are of this gem deposit. Then, we can hold R to extract if we decide to do so.
This looks good.
Notice how one extraction is complete. We can see what we got on the right-hand side, and we can do further extractions by holding R once more.
I'll take it. Got it.
Now this resource is depleted. If you'd like to understand more about the resources, such as the ones in this gem deposit, while this menu is open at the bottom of the screen, press Ctrl, and you can move your mouse down and hover over each individual resource and get additional context on that resource. If you find somewhere that you would like to be able to teleport back to quickly, press the F key to place a teleport beacon wherever you'd like. Left-click to place. Your drone will get to work. There it is. And if you go to the teleport beacon, nothing happens because you need to hit M to zoom out on your map to teleport where you want to go. So for example, I could teleport back to the obelisk by holding my left click. Then, if I wanted to go back to that teleport beacon I placed, hit M again, go find the teleport beacon down here, and hold down the left click button to quickly teleport back to that location. Easy. A quick note on teleport beacons. As you can see, I have multiple at the same time, and I'm pretty close to the obelisk. So if I were to accidentally fall into this acid pool right here, you would imagine that I'd go back to the obelisk. Wrong. As you can see, I go back to the nearest teleport beacon. So, if you place your teleport beacons around the map strategically, in case you accidentally fall into a hazard, it'll take you back to that teleport beacon, so you save time from having to go from the obelisk back to where you were. And as you can imagine, you can create a network of teleport beacons around the map to quickly hold down left click and teleport to them at will. This is all about efficiency, and this is all about maximizing your time effectiveness as you traverse Crimson Waste. When you spot a singularity in the open world, hold down right click to aim your gun. You can hold down left click to charge up your shot, then you blast that singularity right in the center. You can shoot from the ground like I am, or slow time from the air like I showed you earlier. When you get close to a singularity, you'll have the option to press E to interact. You can then hold down E to scan the singularity. Your drone will get to work, helping you understand which Illuvials are contained inside. You can make better decisions about whether you want to fight or not. Hold down R if you decide to fight, and then you will enter the encounter. Welcome to the inside of a singularity. Welcome to an encounter here in the Illuvium Overworld. very similar to the Illuvium Arena, but see that bar at the top of the screen? That is known as dimensional stability. It is a unique mechanic in the Illuvium overworld battles that allows players to be incredibly efficient with how they spend their mastery points. You can't just put your most powerful Illuvials on the board and stop the enemy team. You will be punished for that. What do I mean? Well, when you place Illuvials, notice how your dimensional stability decreases. Is that a bad thing? Well, it actually is. The more it decreases, the more it reduces your chances of getting more favorable alluvial captures. It essentially reduces the number of capture opportunities you'll have at the end, if you win, before the singularity collapses. So, by being efficient with your armaments, with which alluvials you use, countering the enemy team, getting the right position, really thinking about this before you hit the start button, that's going to maximize your chances of catching the alluvials that you want. Press start to get going. You can use WASD and your mouse to get a more cinematic view. And if you win the battle, which I very handily won the battle, I probably spent too many mastery points, you'll see a shard option or multiple shard options at the bottom of the screen. Just drag and drop those on the alluvial of your choice that you're going to attempt to capture. Once you do, you'll go ahead and hit the confirm button. The capture sequence begins. And it didn't work out and the singularity collapsed. I spent too many mastery points. I reduced that dimensional stability bar too much. When you're done in Crimson Waste, you can press M and then left click on the obelisk to teleport back. From here, press E to interact, and when you're done, click Travel to Sanctum Mesa. With your newly acquired resources from Crimson Waste, head back to the hub and then go to the locker. It's right over here at this terminal with a beautiful view. Here at Locker Storage, go ahead and hit E to interact. Here in Locker Storage, I've loaded my account with a ton of resources, alluvials, armaments, and equipment, just so you can see how they work. In the Resources tab, you can navigate by mineable, harvestable, and craftable resources, and hover over each individual one to get more context on it, or click them to see it on the right-hand side. In the Illuvials tab, you can explore each of your alluvials in detail, either with the hover or click them. Check it out. You can see all their stats on the right-hand side. Pretty cool. Here in the Armaments tab, you can see your weapons and armor and augments all in one screen. Explore each one of them individually, just as you can the other resources here in the Locker Storage. Under Equipment, you've got your character equipment, which has to be forged. I'll show you that in a moment, as well as your drone equipment to upgrade your drone, and skins for Mozart and for your ranger. If you want to withdraw anything to your inventory, what you can do is right-click, and it will go into your inventory. Then press I to open your inventory, and you can access anything you've withdrawn from your locker and use it here to either equip it or not. And if you want to bring something back from your equipment to your locker from this location, you can right-click it and it'll deposit back to your locker storage. From locker storage, right over here is the forge. Let's go check it out. This is where you're going to craft and upgrade here in the overworld. Press E to interact. As you can see, my account is loaded with tons of resources. I'm just going to show you a few things you can do here in the forge. You can forge armaments, equipment, augments, shards, gemstones, upgrades for your drone. You can even fuse alluvials, and you can manage your skins and craft skins. I'll show you an alluvial fusion right now because that's really cool. As you can see, I meet the requirements for this fusion 3 out of 3 located right here, and that will give me Axon. I'll click the fuse button. It'll make sure that I am using the right configuration of alluvials to do the fusion and hit confirm. And here we go. Here goes the fusion. As you can see in my locker storage, Illuvial Fuse ×1 successful notification on the right-hand side. There is a deconstruct function here within the forge. Click the deconstruct button at the top, and let's say I wanted to deconstruct the untamable gauntlet I just forged. Click it and see the deconstruct down here. It'll tell you the resources that you will get from it, these common weapon components. I'll click deconstruct and confirm, and those components came right to me, ×3. Went straight to my locker, by the way. One last thought. It's important to note that only Crimson Waste is available in this beta, but there are 6 other regions in progress that will be available to play in the full game. And also, just like the first arena beta, there are still many more mechanics and features to implement to improve your experience. Just some closing thoughts on the Illuvium Overworld beta test. We are not looking for feedback on game balance at this time, but we are looking for feedback on your user experience and what you think of the game flow. Share that with us, we want to know. Also, please report all bugs with as many details as possible. We want to squash those bugs and polish up this Overworld experience to be what we've all been waiting for. And on the behalf of everyone at Illuvium, all the developers, all of our teams, I want to give a heartfelt thank you for you spending your valuable time to help us improve the Overworld. We really appreciate it. Now stop watching me, stop watching this video, and go capture some Illuvials.